Well, why would you come? Why would you want to come to a museum? Why would you tell somebody that what would you tell somebody about a museum?
That I got a class in it. That's what.
What else? Will you come after you have a class? When you don't have a class?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't like it.
Because there ain't nothing in
Because it's all ancient stuff. It ain't nothing today.
Very
No,
modern.
boring. I don't have to learn about the past. I'm not going to go back in the past.
But is that the past? I mean,
Yeah.
those people up there in the television, is that the past?
No.
No, that's
But
happening now.
I'm talking about
museum.
what his.
That's from the what?
But that's here.
We're in the museum.
But a lot of museums don't have this.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of kids don't like to go to school, because we always learn about the past. Nobody don't know about the future.
This is a camera.
The Arts Awareness Program is an approach to involving kids with art. I guess the fact is that at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, with hundreds of thousands of kids coming in here over many, many years, we discovered that art history was not the best handle by which to reach a kid. He comes in the door, there is a gap between him and the art object, and how do you best cross that barrier? I think you begin with the very deep feeling that there is a real connection between the kids and art, no matter when it was made or by whom. We decided to attack this problem on the basis of an experiment that used their perceptions more than their intellect to give them contact with the art. We selected 5 schools, 2 high schools in an urban setting, 2 junior high schools also from an urban setting, and 1 suburban school. Each of these 5 groups came 15 weeks, once a week, and met with 5 artists, each for 3 weeks. The artists were videotape makers, a musician, a dancer, a photographer, and a painter. The principle involved is that such things as line, texture, color, mood relate from one art form to the next. This film presents a sampling of the experiments which we conducted.
Okay, great. Now, I want somebody to come along and do the next thing that would happen if he were... And in fact, your motions are made up of a lot of, different motions. A lot of still paintings, almost, except that it's not really a painting, it's a real life.
I want to see if one of you can interpret a painting in this room of your choice. Use one of the instruments, and if you want to do it with somebody, that's fine, or if you want to do it alone, that's fine. And see if we can guess which one you're doing. Okay? Any volunteers? All right.
Well, that picture there reminds me of waves on the ocean.
Waves in the ocean?
Yeah, and like this comes, against the rocks, splashing against the rocks.
That's why you make a loud and soft sound. This time, I want you to put the instruments down and take a pad, turn to a clean page. And what we'll do is, I'm going to play some things, and I'll let you play some things. We'll do it one at a time, though. So that... Let's see what you did.
It had a whole lot of, say, a meaning to it, you know.
Which sort
Some
of
type
meaning?
of a meaning, you know, like.
Yeah, sound like something you would sing when you get out of school, you know, at the end of the day.
This pack is supposed to be sort of like the waves, the beach, and the birds flying over, sort of like.
Why do you have a guitar in it?
Because at the time when you were playing, in the beginning, it sounded like a guitar.
Sound like a guitar, right. I put a special stop on for that. Okay. Get a clean page. Let's do another one. That was great.
Okay. All right. So what we want to do now, so everybody tune in, is to try to capture in movement the feeling of the environment that you get from this room. Right? That's a big statement. It's different, obviously, from being in the Great Hall. It's different from being outside. It's different from being in a subway. It's different from being in your house, in your room in the house, in the shower. I mean, it's a very different feeling to be here. So I'd like you to get that, whether it means restriction to you, whether it means calmness to you, whatever it means to you, yeah? Okay, but so the quality of the room, or how you feel in it, or what it represents to you, or the work that's in the room, whatever you want to bounce off of, yeah? Okay. Okay, fabulous. I love it.
What we have here is a shape, a rectangle. We just put a line across and we create a rectangle. That is a spatial shape of what my two hands, my two arms are creating. If I go like so, I've actually connected two lines and I've created a shape. What I'd like you to do now is sort of dig this through drawing. We'll just start off this way to get an idea where we're at, then we're going to go to cameras and certain activities. Now, these drawings are going to be very important in relating it to the end work, the photographs that we'll be doing in the darkroom. This is Tri-X, so there's not going to be too much hassle with it, and it's got a good depth of field. Instamatics are groovy cameras. They're not Nikons, but they're groovy cameras. Okay, now this room is your room.
Okay.
Use it. Let's see. Okay.
Thank you.
It's one turn and then a little.
Yeah.
Okay. You can construct, build, put up, put down, use the ladder, bring on anything you want. Hey, hold off a second. Come on in for a second. Basically, we're going to take the 8x10s that I'll make off of what you've done, and we're going to put acetate sheeting over these, and we're going to begin drawing out the spatial shapes, the spatial dimension of those photographs, of your activities. Then we're going to begin, if we can remember, we're going to relate those transparencies, those acetate sheetings, to these drawings. Before we get into that, I was just wondering if you wanted to take off in a different direction using these cameras within this space, doing something that might relate to what we're trying to do. It could be a group thing if you wished. Absolutely. Do it. Work it out. Idea?
Yeah, okay, what I want everyone to line up along this wall. Okay, Andy, you're going to look over there and point. Okay, why don't you hold out your hair? You sit. Okay, why don't you sit?
All right, in a straight line. All right, Steve, you move much closer, all right? Yeah, see, like I want it to be, I'll explain to you what I want. It's a bunch of, you're all a bunch of dominoes, right? All right,
Once you get the inks, just begin to open them and experiment with the color. Just look at the color on gray pieces of paper. Just play with the color. Before, in a little while, we're going to get into something else. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to make the slides. And after we make the slides, we're going to look at the slides, our slides that we make in between some paintings. And we're going to talk about our slides in terms of color. And we're going to talk about the paintings. And some of the things that we mentioned here in terms of color. Do two colors go together? Is it easier to match two colors, or is it easier to match 5 colors? Okay, and then we'll be actually seeing the ones that we make along with some other ones. They could get into the concepts that I'm concerned with, but the definitions of the concepts, defining of the concepts, like you can't talk about different chromatic structures and paints to them, and what happens to the chrome and colors, or you can't talk about the physics of color, because they just can't comprehend that. They can't comprehend the definition of color. But the experience and the reality of color, which is on paper or is applied on paper, they can.
No me toque con esa mano, Nancy.
Yes, look at the bubble meeting. It's going to meet over there. It's going to meet. See, it just broke through.
So like each time you may do the same type of thing, or you may want to get the same point across, but you have to use a different vocabulary, you have to use a different methodology. And so seemingly it's different when actually the whole thing is related.